before this video starts, I want to let you guys know that I'm currently doing a huge Robux giveaway inside of my server down below. All you have to do to join that is click the first link in the description, like this video, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I gathered up and made a list of every single Shikai, every single Schrift, and every single resurrection, and basically we're gonna be ranking them best to worst, each in a separate tier list. That way, if you're a beginner, you can decide early on what you want to be. And by the end of this video, I'm gonna be explaining which race is the best and which one you should use ultimately, in my opinion. So without further ado, make sure you guys subscribe, like this video, and hit the notification button because it's gonna notify you whenever I go live. When I do go live, I be giving out free stuff, so you definitely don't want to miss that. So hit that notification button while you're at it. And say no more, we're gonna get started on the vote standing tier list. In the description, I made timestamps for every single tier list, so you'll know which one I'm doing. To start, we're gonna be doing the vote standing tier list. To start, we got compulsory. Now, compulsory is mainly a healing Schrift, so yeah, it's mainly good for like medic builds and full-on support builds and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd have to leave it at A for now. It's not an S tier because its combat is pretty bad, but I do think it's an A tier Schrift. Next up, we got Thunderbolt. Bro, before the rework, this vote was trash, but after the rework, it has to be one of the best Shrifts in the game. But yeah, the moves on it go crazy, the stuns on it go insane. It's just one of the best moves in the game. That's like 100% fact. Yeah, Thunderbolt is undeniably one of the best. For Thunderbolt, I'm gonna definitely have to go S tier. Next up, we got Wind. Now, after the rework, this actually got buffed just a little bit, but the moves on it are like so hard to hit. And although they are good, they're very hard to connect to a player. You know, this is completely opinionated, to be honest with you, but for this one, I'm gonna have to go D tier. I just don't think it's that good, and when I tried using it, I literally got flamed. So yeah, I don't think it's that good. Next up, we got the Iron. Now, the range on this full standing is not that good. It has some good things about it, like it's very hard to parry, and the moves on it are very fast. So you can't really block it, or you'd have to go very fast to block it. It's also block breaks on every single attack. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, very good Schrift. I wish they would buff it a little bit so that it can go up to S or A tier. But although it is hard to hit, I'm gonna have to put it at C tier for now because I think that's where it belongs. I can even go up to B tier, you know what I'm saying, but that's where I think it belongs for now. Next up, we got the Heat. Now this one, to be honest with you, it's not too good, it's not too bad. It could somewhat compete with the other ones, and if you're good at it, it can actually go up to S tier. But I do think it has some flaws, like it's a little too slow sometimes. Yeah, but still, in my opinion, I don't think it's bad at all. I'm gonna put it at B tier. But yeah, comment down below what you would think where I should put it next time. Next up, we have Power. Now this is a very decent Schrift. It's also very underrated, and it has a good amount of range in between the moves and a good amount of short range outside the moves. So it's actually really good for range and stuff like that, and the moves on it do a crazy amount of damage, and they're also very hard to parry. So yeah, Power is not bad. I don't think it's in S tier, and I don't think it's in B tier. I think it's perfectly in A tier. I think it's perfectly in A tier because I think S tier is too good for it and B tier is way too low for Power. So A tier just makes the most sense. Next up, we got Fear. Now, from my personal experience, bro, these players are crazy. They go crazy with Fear, bro. I would honestly put this at S, bro, but I do hope y'all know that Type Soul nerfed this so much, it's not even funny. If you check the update logs, bro, the damage on this Schrift / full standing is crazy down bad right now. I would still think it's in A tier, but I don't know, to be honest. The moves on it still go fast, and it has a lot of range and stuff. So yeah, I'm still gonna go A tier, but you know, I don't think it's that good, to be honest with you. Next up, we have Miracle. In my opinion, Miracle is a very good Schrift. It's pretty solid. I do think it needs a little bit of a buff, though. So I'm going to put it in A tier for now. But yeah, very solid Schrift. Now, Gluon is actually very good. I think it's one of the best, too. I don't think it's S tier, but I think it's one of the best Shrifts for sure. Like, it's definitely not Thunderbolt level. But I could see it in A tier. For this one, I'm going to have to go A tier for sure. But I think it's definitely one of the bests in A tier. Like, it can go up to S tier type shit. Now, as you guys can see, I clearly forgot to add the other ones, so I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. The Balance goes in A tier, the Visionary goes in B tier, and the Superstar goes in A tier. So yeah, that's definitely for sure how I think they should go, and that makes up my entire tier list. Next up, we got Shikai tier list. Now first up we got Creation Shikai. Now I could see it being an A tier, but honestly don't think it does a lot of damage, and it's also kind of simple and like, but it doesn't really do a lot of damage, and it's also kind of simple. For this one I'm gonna have to put it at B tier. Next up we got Blood Bankai. Now Blood Bankai did indeed get nerfed just a little bit, but in my opinion it's still like one of the best Bankais. If Shikai is legendary, then I'm probably gonna put it in S tier because all the legendary ones are just so good for some reason. But yeah, for this one I'm gonna have to go S tier. I think it's still one of the best Shikais in the game. Next up we got Confusion. Now this one's kind of hard because there's not a lot of players in the game that use Confusion. It's not really that good, to be honest with you, so for this one I'm gonna have to put it at D tier. Next up we got Ink Bankai. Now Ink is really good because I feel like it's something that not a lot of people would want to fight against. It's also a legendary, so for Ink I'm gonna have to put it in S tier. Next up we got Ice. For Ice I'm gonna also have to put it in S tier. I feel like it's still one of the best Shikais even though it got nerfed. I feel like the way that you use it can be very good and stuff. Now for PvP, this one's awful. It does a lot of splash damage and it barely does any damage at all. For Berserk, I'm honestly between C and D tier. I think I'm putting it in D tier for now because of how terrible it is. Alright, next up we got Susan Bachi. For this one, I know it's a legendary, but I'm gonna have to go B tier as well. I don't think it's that good. Next up we got Judgment. Now same thing as the Confusion. I barely see any players using Judgment, to be honest with you, bro. You'll get lucky to find someone actually using this. For Judgment, I'm gonna have to put it in D tier, but I think it's the best one in D tier, so yeah. This list is getting smaller, so if you guys want another video like this, make sure you like so that I know. Next up we got Flower Shikai. This is the one that I'm currently using right now. I think it's one of the best Shikais, to be honest with you. It does a lot of damage and it's also very beneficial, so I think Flower goes in S tier. Next up we got Water Shikai. Now I know some people are gonna disagree with this, but I feel like some people are gonna disagree with this, but I think it's in S tier because it was buffed heavy, and now it's like nearly unbeatable in every PvP match. So yeah, Water is definitely the best Shikai right now. Next up we got Shadow. Shadow is one of those where I'd have to put it in A or B tier because I don't think it's in C tier. If I had to take a guess, I'd put it in A tier because I feel like it's better than everything in B tier. So yeah. Next up we got Fire Shikai. Fire goes insane in PvP matches. I see a lot of people using Fire nowadays, and I think it's had a huge buff, to be honest with you, although I could be wrong about that. For Fire, I'm gonna have to put it in A tier. I think it's better than Shadow though. Alright, next up we got Wind. So if you don't know, this one's pretty controversial. The moves on it are really good for PvP because they like basically immobilize the player a lot. I want to say it's an S tier because I still think all of these are better, but I have to put Wind in A tier, and I think it's better than Fire. I also think it's better than everything in B tier and anything in D tier. Next up we got Zangetsu. To be honest with you, bro, I was gonna put it in D tier, but I still think it's better than all of these in the D tier section, so I'm gonna put it in C tier just because I think it's better than all of them. But yeah, it's not that good, to be honest with you. If you have it, I would try to reroll. Same with Poison, you know what I mean? Like, Poison's very bad. I don't really see anyone using it, which is a good sign. Do not use Poison, it's like one of the worst in the game. But yeah, if you guys want another video like this, make sure you like so that I know. Last thing is Theater. Theater is a pretty solid Shikai. Some people actually consider it the best Shikai in the game. I'm not gonna hate on it too much because I don't think it's that bad. For Theater, I'm gonna have to go A tier, but I think it's the worst one in A tier. I think it could go to B tier. But yeah, of course, this is my list. Make sure you guys let me know. If you guys think this is a W list, then comment W. If you think it's an L list, then comment L list, and then explain to me why you think that. Lastly, we got the Resurrection tier list. First of all, we got Pantera. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't really versed that much people with it. It's pretty good, it's pretty decent, especially if you have Hakuda. And it's also pretty quick and hard to evade. So for Pantera, I'm between A tier and B tier. I don't think it's an S tier, but I think it's pretty decent. For this one, I'm gonna have to go A tier. Probably one of the low A tier ones. Next up, we got Tiger. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, Tiger is very good. It's like literally insane. Even though it got nerfed, it's still one of the best in the game. And it's still very hard to beat. So yeah, I consider it one of the best Segundas in the entire game. The hitboxes are still very weird. It hits you from very far away and wherever you are. It's kind of easy to counter though. For Tiger slash Segunda, I'm gonna have to put it in S tier, but I think it's one of the low S tier ones. Next up, we got Storm Segunda. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I do not really know because I barely see anyone with it. And I also barely got to see any showcases or whatever. So I'm just gonna put that one in the I don't even know tier. Like, I don't even know, you know. Next up, we got Acid. Acid isn't bad, but the charge up always takes a while. And it really makes you a target. Like, it makes you easy to hit. It's still decent, but I wouldn't really recommend using it. The ragdoll move is blockable as hell. And the area of effect is just crazy. Acid is pretty mid at the moment. I wouldn't really suggest using it. I would have to put it in C tier, but yeah, it definitely needs a buff. I don't think it's completely trash. Like, I don't think it's in D tier. D tier would be, you know, completely horrible. Next up, we got Shark. Shark and Acid are pretty close in power, In my opinion though, I feel like Shark is a little bit better because I've versed players that are better with it. When it comes to PvP, it takes a while for you to regain your abilities. By the time you regain them, your opponent has probably regained them as well. And it still has a lot of flaws, like if they flash step away from your move, your whole flow is broken or whatever. I could see it being kind of an A tier, but in my opinion, I'm just gonna stick to B, high B tier. Next up we got Bone. Bone is definitely high S tier, maybe one of the best. I'm gonna explain to you why. And looking at the moveset, Bone is literally insane. It's probably one of the best in the game. For one of the moves, you can't even really parry it. Can't really parry the bones that chase you. And even if you parry the first part, you can't even parry the second part because the second one will hit you. But between Bone and Tiger, it's very dependent on the situation. Some people will tell you Tiger, some people will tell you Bone. From my personal experience, I feel like Bone is better, so I'm gonna be leaving it at S tier. But feel free to tell me why you think Tiger might be better. So yeah, I think Bone is better for now. Next up we got Phoenix. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, I barely see anyone ever using this anymore ever since it got nerfed. They nerfed it way too much, and I feel like in the next update it should be brought back up. Well yeah, I'm between I don't even know or D tier in this one because I feel like if no one uses it then it sucks. So for this one I'm just gonna put it in D tier, even though it can go there 100%. Same thing with Spirit, you know, I barely see anyone ever using it, so I'm just gonna put it at D tier, even though I don't really know, to be honest with you. It could be even an S tier. I just never seen anyone using it and I've never used it myself. Next up we got Devil. In most cases the Inferno ability goes crazy. The fact that it doesn't take Ryetsu in itself is crazy. Like, that's so OP. They need to nerf that. I wouldn't say it's S tier though, because these two just demolish the hell out of it. It fits directly into the worst spot in A tier, even though Devil is still crazy, you know what I mean. Next up we got Vampire. Although it got nerfed, I still think it's very good, even though it is blockable and it's very counterable. I think it's gonna get a buff next update. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best in A tier, but I wouldn't put it in anywhere in S tier. But I do think it's high A tier. Like, I can definitely see it being a little S tier though. Next up we got Stark. Now this is completely opinionated. I honestly feel like Stark is the best resurrection in the entire game, so I'd have to put it in high S tier. It can literally interrupt Hakura and alter your moves and alter your moves greatly. Some moves are literally guard breaks that are literally unable to be countered, you know what I mean? So next up we got Volcanica. Now the thing about Volcanica is that the players that use it literally have no skill whatsoever. Whenever the moves are used, they're very unparryable. They're so hard to counter, it's actually not even funny. Or they're not even counterable. Like, I don't know which one it is, to be honest with you. So yeah, it needs a lot of skill, and a lot of the people who don't use it aren't really good with it. So for Volcanica, I'd have to put it in C tier, even though I think it's really good, to be honest with you. But yeah, from what I've seen, I put it in C tier. Now we got two more. If you guys want another part of this, make sure you like this video. For Light, I don't know anything about it, so I'm just gonna put it in the I don't even know section, because I don't even know, you know. Last thing we got is Arrogante. Now this one's 100% going in S tier. It has a pretty quick guard break and it cripples the opponent heavy. It's 100% in S tier, and if you got Hakura, it can do a lot more stuff. So yeah, Hakura is definitely the best, if not one of the best. So I'd put it in the high S tiers. It's also one of those that you don't really need a lot of skill to use it. It's just good on its own, you know. So yeah, Arrogante is definitely high S tier. So as you guys can see, this is my entire list. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about it. If you disagree, let me know why you disagree with a comment. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment something down below. If you disagree with something, let me know in the comments what you disagree with and why. But yeah, that should be the end of the video. Thank you for watching and have a good one. Peace out.